The next job I want to tackle on my RAV is the headlight on the right hand side. I've got a lot of build up of condensation, so I'll just show you what the problem is first. Here's the headlight, and there's a great deal of condensation built up in here. What I intend to do next is to take the headlight out, get into the unit itself, see if I can get into the screen behind the bulbs here, and I'm going to mop out most of the water, then dry the rest off, probably with a hairdryer. The next thing I'm going to do is remove this plastic cover, and that involves removing all of these clips here. The way this clip operates, if you want to remove it, press the center spigot in, and then it will just pop out. And then to reset it, spread the two jaws over the solid piece of plastic there, and that will make the spigot proud again. Now it's ready to use, so if I want to put it back in, you just place it in the hole and then just press the spigot in, and that's the clip re-secured in the hole, and it will hold this plastic shroud in place. These clips operate in a different way. I can unscrew the center and it will retract. Sometimes you need to put a bit of pressure on it, but this one's coming out fine. With all of those clips removed, there's a bit of a lip here, so raise it, slide it out, and the whole panel comes away. The next thing that's got to be done is the inner splash guard has got to be taken out, which is plastic. So I've jacked the car up. That's given me a lot more space in the wheel arch itself. There are several clips all over the place. So this type of clip just needs to have a quarter turn like that, and then the centerpiece will come out. I've used a short screwdriver because I've got to get in between the wheel and that. If you took the wheel off, you wouldn't have that problem. So that clip just comes out, and basically there's a couple of arms on the side, and if you look at the hole, you can see that's why you need to turn it a quarter of a turn. So where are the clips? There's one there which was a quarter turn to the left to undo it, and there is one just here, and that just pulls out. You pull the center out and that releases the clip. There's another one here, there's one inside there, and a further one inside there. There are more to the rear if you want to take the whole thing out, but with those removed I can pull the inner mudguard out enough so that I can get to the securing parts of the bumper itself, so I can take that off. So I'll get on with that and then I'll describe it afterwards. I'm almost at the point where I can take the headlamp out. So let's have a recap. I took the plastic sheet off the top. I took the clips out of the inner mudguard, the plastic inner mudguard. Found some leaves there, just get rid of those. And I've shown you where they are. I needed to do that because right here is a bolt that goes upwards. Now, there's a lot of bolts and clips that need to be undone all the way along here. So I haven't undone them all, I've just undone them right to just short of the middle. So you can see where they all are roughly. So that got us to a point where I can pull the bumper away enough to get to the bolts on the headlamp. So with those removed, I can get to this point here. So in addition to all of the clips that hold the bumper on, now the bumper's away, I found that there's a bolt just here, and I needed to take that bolt out so that I could lift this away just enough to maneuver the headlight out of the way. So I loosened off the bolt on this end, removed it completely on this end. So let's have a look at the headlight retaining bolts. So there's two screw-in bolts, one here. I've almost removed that one. That one looks like it's going to go. And there's one here. And let's just take that one out. Now there's another one. There's another one which is just in there. So I've already taken that one out. There's one below it. So I took that one out initially, and I found it didn't actually do anything to the headlamp itself. So I'm going to put that one back in again. The other one, more difficult to find, is straight down there. So that one, let's get some light in there. Straight down there, and you can just see the hole where this screw bolt goes into. And be very careful. Obviously you can see how I've taken it out. I've just got a gripper, and that's how I'm going to put it back in again. That's why I've left it in place. So with all of those free, now the headlamp can be removed. So I'm going to need both hands for that. So I'll get back to you once I've lifted it free. Now just before I switch off and remove the headlamp, there's lots of little things here, like this is a raised lip, so it's got to go over that. There's a little pin. There's a little pin just in there, so it's got to go around that. And this bracket here needs to be lifted out of the way, and that's why I removed that bolt there and slackened off the one on the other end. So I'll get the headlamp out and I'll get back to you. So the first thing I've done is I've labelled where all of these plugs go to make it easier when I put them back on. And there's two types of clip here. This one has got a little catch there, so I've got to lift that up. So I put a screwdriver in there. And you see I raise that little lip, it goes over that tag and the clip comes out. Now the other type is this with a metal bar which engages in little clips on the plug just there. So I've got to take this away. Now I'm using a broad screwdriver, and what I've got to do is catch it as it comes out, because it's potential to go anywhere. There you go, there's one side. Okay, so there's that little bracket, and the plug just pulls out. And I'll just get on with the rest of them now. So I just found another type of clip here. This one just pulls off, and I just used the screwdriver to give me a little bit of a helping hand. And that is the headlight free. Okay. So with all the wiggling around, all the water has dropped to the bottom. So just before I move on, I just want to show you the amount of water that is actually in there. And the big question for me is, how did the water get in there in the first place? I'm going to go in through the back of one of these lamps where there's a hole. I'm just going to mop it up. So how do we do that then? So here's the back. If you go in through this way, it looks like there's a lens on the other side. Now, to remove this bulb, if you ever need to change it, you don't need to take it out of the housing to do this. There is access, it's a bit fiddly, but you can actually do it. So what you do is you rotate this about a third of a turn anti-clockwise, and then the bulb just comes out. Now, the first time I did this, this rubber shroud was stuck to here. So just as a top tip, this rubber shroud here, put it on the bulb itself, and then you can see how it goes in. The lugs are not uniformly placed, and one of them is wider, so there's only one way to put this in. And then if you can't actually see it, let's see if I can hold it up. So there's actually a lens the other side. If I show you this side, so you can't get through there. Another top tip is, don't touch the bulb itself. Greasy fingerprints will weaken the glass when it gets hot. So to put it back in again, line up the lugs, rotate a third of a turn, that's it, locked in place again. Now if I take this one out, if I take this one out, same process, rotate anti-clockwise, same again, there's your bulb. Now this time I can get all the way in. See if I can show you. There's my finger poking through there. Look. So this time I can get all the way in. So I wonder if the water will actually pour out of the hole. That's the first thing. Let's try that. So I can't get it to come out of that hole there. So I'm back to option one, which is to get in there and try and mop it. So I've cut a thinner strip of toweling. Let's see if that works. I've got it soaked in the water. Now it's a matter of waiting for it to be absorbed. I might need to take it out one or two times and do it again. I'm just going to put it back together again now. Hopefully it'll be a bit quicker than taking it apart.